time sensitive. Good morning, everybody. This is Dennis Wilburn with the How to Make Money Trading Stocks webinar. Of course, I am the chief analyst for the active trend trading and the developer of the active trend trading system. Joining us from Zurich, Switzerland is Michael Bischoff. Michael, good morning.
Hello. Well, it's good evening for me, but it's good to be on a global base.
Yes, it is. And so I want to remind everybody that all the materials we do present are for training purposes only. Traders should always paper trade any new method prior to the risk of their own personal capital. I am going to basically, as you're very much aware, everybody's aware, this is a really quick-paced 10 to 15 minutes worth of information. I won't leave that on there too long. It's a little bit about who I am. We do a quick market review and then to take a look at the things that we were looking at trading for the week, and then if there's anything else setting up and that type of thing. I am a firm believer that once a person has been given, given the keys, then it's basically learn how to open the door. And that has a lot to do. Your training provides the keys in trading, and then you have to learn exactly how to open the door. So there is a second step. You just can't have the knowledge or the education. You have to make it, apply it, and then let it grow into wisdom. Here's what the markets are doing as of 9 o'clock this morning. Everything is up. Active trend trading system is moving up. Getting close to overtaking the NASDAQ for its yearly performance. I want to jump into and take a look at the individual indexes. And before I get started with the S&P, Michael, we were chatting just briefly before going live that the French election, you basically said, was basically a non-event.
Yes, yeah, you could say.
And so regardless of whether one's a nationalist or one's a globalist, what happened in France happened in France, and so kind of interesting mix across Europe. But the question I wanted to ask you for you to share with the group really quickly is, if there hasn't been an effect on the markets in Europe, you said that there is a bullish bias going on in Europe right now.
Yeah, I mean, it had an impact, and I wouldn't. Also, I mean, France is maybe after Germany the second important country in Europe, so it was definitely an important thing. And I mean, but it was a typical buy the rumor, sell the news, but the selling was tiny. Yeah. And I think the ones that wanted to make quick money made it, and some other investors are now attracted that kind of the question marks aren't there anymore.
Okay.
And I mean, we can, if we have some time, to FEZ. That's the best.
Which one? FEZ.
FEZ. Z?
Third
line.
This one?
You see it? Yeah, exactly.
Okay, FEZ.
It's really the 50 big Euro stocks.
Okay. And you believe...
And, it was kind of sleeping, and it really wake up.
Okay. And so, yeah, it looks like that's got a really nice bounce up. Let me blow this up a little bit to see. Yeah, and it's still got some, it's moving up here toward a past resistance area about 40, and then, potential all the way up. This is a big, long pattern. And so, based on this rally that's been going on now since it looks like about April of last year or June of last year, Europe as a market is waking up?
It is, yeah.
Okay. And what were some of the other ETFs, European ETFs you had for folks? FEZ?
Well, FXE, that's the classical euro dollar play.
Okay, FXE.
And it's extremely liquid. There are weekly options on it, so it had for a long time nice volatility. Now it seems the volatility is
okay.
Now,
and what was the other one?
And the third one, and then we are done, I'd say, it's EFA. That's a broader index, including also, I think, Australia and Canada.
Oh, okay. Excellent. I know the U.S. government's...
Japan. I don't know. I think 70% is Europe and 30% is some Western non-U.S. countries.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, this is the index or an ETF that the federal government uses for their thrift savings plan investment for their employees, for their more or less the government 401k. So kind of interesting. So thanks.
It's also very liquid and with weekly options.
All right. Well, you know how I like weekly options. So let's get into real quick on the SPX. Thanks, Michael. That's so a little bit of insight there for everybody. If you're interested in doing some things in Europe, Michael gave us some, highlighted 3 ETFs that you can keep an eye on. And so S&P, what I'm looking at for S&P, basically it is just churning here. Been doing this for the last several weeks. Matter of fact, the last 3 weeks we're churning between 2380 up in here at 2400. It appears like it wants to roll over, but oftentimes you can drive sideways with these entities. Just drive sideways, and while the overbought condition basically works its way off, and that's maybe what we're seeing here. This drives sideways, the overbought condition works its way off. We are at a level here on the momentum where it may bounce off the 0 line, and but again, still a little bit of negative divergence on the True Strength Index, on the S&P, on the weekly chart. NDX, we're still looking at a kind of a divided market. NDX, as you can see, continues to just gradually push higher. We covered this on Wednesday night. The big thing that at least catches my attention is you got this fairly significant negative divergence on both the momentum, the TSI, not so much on the on the market forecast. However, the interim term market forecast, both of those are up in the upper reversal area. So you have a 2-line cluster. Might it turn over? At this point, we don't know. It is extended away from its moving averages. So to get some kind of a pullback back into where it broke out would not be surprising. But right now, NASDAQ is not giving us either a sell signal nor an entry signal. Okay, Russell's very interesting to me. Basically, it is still clinging to support here at the 1380 level. Just translate that over to the to either the IWM or TNA, where we may get set up, or it just drives sideways here, bouncing off that level, and get a bounce back up and a drive back up into the these past highs. But that's what we're looking at on the Russell. Nothing really, it appears as if momentum's starting to turn up a little bit, but TSI, no tick up on TSI, so not really any buy there. But it's worth keeping close to your, reviewing it on a daily basis, I think, for this potential turnaround, because if we break back up, you're going to have a really quick, probably a very quick run back up to at least the past resistance. And on something like TNA, let's see if I can put that in there, TNA, which is 3 times leveraged of this, that would give you a move of approximately from there to there is about an 8 to close to, about 9.5% move in a very quick, short order time period. So let's take a look at, so that's what I'm looking at with the indexes. Let's get back over here. Percentage stocks above their 20-day moving average, nothing really to write home about. It is the internals of the larger, the NYSE are weaker than the NYSE. We covered that and talked about that on Wednesday, and I also indicate what that's indicative of is those 5 major stocks that are driving the S&P, the NASDAQ, and the Dow are not, you know, they're holding up those indexes while the NYSE is, you know, slacking a little bit. And so it's telling us that in the bigger global market of stocks, they're basically the non-weighted ones are weighing on the overall market, but it just hasn't totally taken effect to you know, take the market down. I'm not saying it's going to take it down significantly. There's a lot of pressure to hold this market up. This week, what do we get into? We got into Nugget, bought in at 29.21 on Monday and sold half of that for a 10% gain. Sold half of the position that we opened on UCO, which is oil. Looking for some potential turnaround on the seasonality on both gold and oil. And Tesla, we're just waiting for a good entry on Tesla. Tesla is the gift that just, you know, kind of keeps on giving. It right now it's just got a lot of momentum. It pulls back a little bit, and then companies and then individuals and the institutions are buying it back up. So Tesla's hot right now. What else we got? Know the trend, define the area. Reality of trend trading. Here's what we're sitting with the what we've taken in so far, profits on all 3 strategies through today. I just want to throw in, this is a new chart I wanted to throw in with everybody. Since we've completed the training on utilizing the TSI tick up as one of our primary rule number 1 entry trigger, it has really smoothed out our both our entries and also getting in on unnecessary trades. Right now we're sitting at a win-loss ratio for strategy 1 of 75%, or 0.75, which means that 7.5% of the trades that we take are winding up as a profitable trade, which is awesome. And then strategy number 3, totally closed out Nugget because it wasn't working for us, and so now we're looking at maintaining spiders and Tesla. As soon as Tesla gets up to a 100% gain, that means it has paid for both the initial layout of capital plus an additional 100%. We will close that and reopen that to run out through the rest of the year. So that's where we're sitting there with that. So hey, keep growing the egg. Trade wisely, but before we move away, yeah, we're doing fine. We got 2 minutes to get the rest of what I want to show everybody going. So the entities that we were looking at for this past week are, of course, Nugget. Got into Nugget. Where do we get into Nugget at? Well, we got into Nugget down here at just a little bit. We took this signal down here, tick up on the TSI, jumped in here on the 8th at about 20, depending on where you triggered in, about 29.20, and it ran up, took out 10%, and then basically it is pushed on above this level here, pushing in on 20%. Just for highlight, and I may put this out in a video over the weekend. And so Andrew asked a question, is there a video that premium members can look at for the TSI tick up? Yes, there is, Andrew. I've got it both posted on the YouTube channel and also under the active trend trading, or ATTS rules by the number. And that is the primary entry rule number 1. Take a look at that, and it is right there in the training videos. on the website. And if you have an issue or want to know how to get to that, just send me an email. And but I may put this out as a video this weekend. Look what's happened. Last time that nugget got a big bounce up, where did it go? Went right to the 50-day moving average and then stopped dead in the water. So don't be surprised that somewhere between where it's at now and up here at the 50-day moving average, it may be a good time to just go ahead and take off the rest of the profits on this one. But then look what happens after it goes into the, because we're getting to the place where gold should be getting ready for its seasonal run. I will be looking for any pullback that's close to the 8-day moving average for potential bounces. So, I won't feel bad whatsoever. Matter of fact, I put out a trailing stop report this morning that basically said, hey, I'm going to put my trailing stop so I don't lose, so that I'll not maximize my gains, but I'll set my gains where if it falls from where it's at, I'll still gain 15%. That's in place. So nuggets working well. UCO. It's about time for oil to make a tick up. We're right there at the bottom of its trading zone. Where might it go? Well, if it goes back to 20, that's great. But we jumped in down here at about 1574, 1569. Got a 5%, a little bit, jumped up about almost a little over 7%. Didn't take that out, but we go ahead and closed out part of it today for a 5% gain. What we got going on? Tesla, we're just waiting on Tesla. Tesla is right back up, and this is a daily chart. It's at a level of resistance. Is it going to break through or just squat and go back into a pullback? Remember, next week is just remember that next week is monthly option expiration. Tends to have an upward bias. So. Okay, folks, I'm going to call it a day. Went just a little bit over. Michael, thanks for joining us. But my commitment to everybody is to keep these as as short as possible. And so those who will be joining us on the next thing, which is the final hour. Just stand by. We had one of our, a couple of our trades on the final hour last week. One turned out great, the other one not so great. So just remember, and I don't know why that didn't, and remember, just keep the egg growing, and somebody's got to be here. And aloha, God bless, have a wonderful weekend, everybody.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Okay,
Bye, Dennis.
Thanks, Michael.